bro? Yeah, what's up? Oh, nothing. I'm just wounded. Why? My ex. You mean the one from 5 years ago? Yeah. Emo died in 2009, alright? Hey, Emo's not dead, bro. What's going on, guys? Welcome to 31 Days of Horror. I'm Morgan Film Fan. Let's jump into some scares. Sargad is the Swedish word for wounded or scarred, and that is the title of this film. This is a Swedish film by Sargad, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is from 2017, a very low-budget film. I think this only cost 3,000, I believe American, maybe Swedish money as well. But I think we're going with 3,000 American for the budget on this. And it's a pretty cool picture. It's your basic rape revenge story. So you got this I spit on your grave kind of situation going on. And I heard about this. Sarah Gierski has a YouTube channel, Sarah of Horror, which I frequent, and then came across this bad boy and thought it would be perfect for 31 Days of Horror. So had to cover this one. It is talked about in the horror community, and it seemed fun. So basically what we have going on here is we have this girl named Elena and her little sister Lily. They go with their mother to this cabin that they own in the Swedish countryside, and they're going there to basically spread the ashes of the two girls' father and the husband of the mother. And they spend like a weekend there, and essentially what happens is when they eventually go to spread the ashes, you have these three bandit guys who go and you know, just do absolutely horrendous things to these women, and you know, it after that turns into a revenge story. You get some reveals on, you know, who these guys are, why they're there. There's some flashbacks that happen and given reasons and ties that they have to eventually, you know, the father and how the father relates to this whole scenario. You have this woman who lives also in her own cabin in the woods named Moret, if I'm pronouncing that correctly as well. And she was an old family friend of this mother and the two daughters, and she has her own story and her own kind of tie-in to everything that's going on with this family and with the three evil guys that come in and, you know, do the most despicable things. You know, just think I Spit on Your Grave. If you know that film, or Last House on the Left, you're gonna get a lot of violent stuff going on. And for a low-budget film, I love this kind of stuff, first of all. And I think, again, just like Lake Erie, which I reviewed just a few days ago, I think this film utilizes its budget absolutely well. I mean, the acting in here is quite decent for the type of film that it is. If I'm going to nitpick anything in this film, again, this is just purely because of the budget. I'd say its weakest element is probably its lighting. I don't think that there was either enough lighting itself or just not the crew behind. Like, they didn't have the crew behind to do the lighting, but I would say the weakest part of the film is the lighting. And there's some moments of choreography too, where there'll have to be people fighting, or people kind of certain scenes where people will be attacking, like somebody would be attacking another person, and the choreography definitely seems a little bit on the weaker side. And so I would say that choreography and the lighting are the two weakest parts of this film. The acting is actually really up there, which I was really happy to see, and see that they actually got people who knew the script and knew, you know, what kind of movie they were in. Like, nothing felt cheesy and nothing felt forced and nothing felt fake at any point. The sound design was also pretty impressive. Not perfect by any means, but the sound design is actually really well done, and definitely many, many steps up from the lighting that I noticed. The lighting design, you could call it. So the sound design, I've definitely heard way worse when it comes to low budget cinema, because sometimes the thing with low budget cinema is just like you just don't have the crew that you necessarily need behind everything, so it's really difficult sometimes to make everything tip top when you just, you know, you don't have the funding behind it. But what they were able to utilize with this film, with the sound design and with the acting and with the set itself, like all the locations and the camera work, it was really, really well done. And I thought this film was a lot of fun. It's brutal at times, for good ways and bad ways. I mean, the whole spreading the ashes scene when the guys come along, I mean, there's no more horrible time to commit that kind of violent act than when you're spreading a family member's ashes. Like, that's brutality at its max. And it's hard to watch, and it's sickening, and it's shot well. You have the main lead too, Sarah. She's an absolutely stunningly beautiful girl. So she's very sexualized throughout the film to make a point. And when you're watching it, like, you're seeing, because she's usually walking around like with no pants and stuff like that, and there's a sexuality to it, but then you add the rape on top of it, and then it's not hot anymore. You know what I mean? Unless you're a fucking psychopath or something. But there's also moments before anything violent starts to happen where she runs into this old friend named Oliver, and I really liked Oliver, and I liked the scenes that they had together. There's one where they first run into each other, and they realize, like, I think she didn't know he lived there anymore or whatnot. And then they start talking, and she's borrowing some milk that she got from Morit's place. And they start talking, and then he says something like, "Oh, I hope the milk tastes good," or something. He says it kind of out of nervousness. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there like, yeah, I bet you hope the milk tastes good. It was hilarious. But there is a sex scene between them that's really, really filmed well and is just super hot to see, and shot really well. And then there's the, you know, rape stuff that is definitely uncomfortable to watch, to say the least. You got an absolute stunning lead during the whole thing. So, and when it gets to the revenge part, she has this look on her face that she's able to do really well, that you can just read, and it's just this like no holding back, like, I'm ready to do this, I'm not stopping, nothing can convince me not to do this, I'm going to brutalize these three fuckers for, you know, doing what they did to me and my family, kind of thing. And she just has this sadistic look that is terrifying but sexy at the same time. So she did a really good performance. The main bad guy, you could call him the main bad guy, Alexander, also did a really, really good performance as the villain. And then the other two guys were pretty good too. One of them dies pretty quick, but they were good as well. And the girl who plays Lily, she looks like she's in her 20s, but she definitely has that youthful look, so she can act like she's a lot younger than that, and convincingly look like she's a lot younger than that. So I don't know how old she's supposed to be in the movie, but she's definitely supposed to be younger than Elena is. But yeah, it's a cabin in the woods rape revenge story. The atmosphere is great, and this film utilizes a lot of great stuff for its budget and being an independent film. And this is one of those films that I just love recommending, because it's one of those hidden gems that's actually merits its budget and merits its existence. And again, everybody behind it, Sarah from Sarah of Horror, is clearly a horror fan. And if you watch her channel, you can tell that this girl just loves living and breathing and talking about horror. And she wrote the movie. She didn't direct the film, but she wrote it. And did a great job with it, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's definitely an underrated gem, and even though it is talked about in the horror community, it doesn't have a lot of people talking about it. And the only review on IMDb, whoever gave it a 1 out of 10 and was like, this is like the worst movie ever, I think that person needs to watch more movies because, like I said, it's not perfect, and I can definitely, you know, point out its flaws in my opinion, the lighting, the choreography. But, I mean, I think he said something like, or she, whoever wrote the review, said, like, it was the worst acting they've ever seen. Are you kidding me? The worst acting you've ever seen in here. Have you seen some shit? Like, it's just ridiculous. But yeah. Yeah, can't talk about the cinematography enough, how good the acting is for what it is, and of course, Sarah Gierski being a beautiful lead in this. Yeah, it's just great. It's a lot of fun if you can handle the violence. So yeah, it's not for those squeamish of brutality, but it's a cool little indie project from Sweden. So I had a really good time with it, and that's day 28. That's another entry in 31 Days of Horror. Until next one, check out what's up for this month, and check out what's up on the channel from previous years as well. And hope everybody's keeping things spooky and enjoying the fall and enjoying the spooky season. And until next review, have a good one. Take care. Cheers.